What's the tea? Today we are so excited to have a group of friends here together to drink on some tea. We are talking about hot topics, and today's topic is the dynamics of female relationships. Now, we all know that it's sometimes difficult for women to get along, but today we want to find out, how do we break those barriers? How do we begin to collaborate and just identify some of the problems that exist between women, right? And so today I have here drinking tea with me is none other than these lovely ladies, my friends. To my far right, we have Sister Deborah. And right here I have who I just went to Fabulous Girls Rocks on the girlfriend day with my friend LaShawn Spry. All right. Next to me on my left is none other than Miss LaBelle T. herself, Stephanie Nelson. And to my far left here is my little right hand friend over here. All these ladies are my friends, but y'all give it up for Sandra Ward. Right? And so I just thank you for tuning in. I am Lady Chanel Moore, and I'm so excited to do this. Today and every time on What's the Tea, we're going to have an expository experience. What does that mean? We're going to bring hot topics and juicy gossip to you about women in the Bible and different practical things in life. You thought that it was something going on Greenleaf? We're going to let you know what's really happening. So catch this tea, ladies. All right. So some of the ladies that we're going to talk about today, we're going to just address a few relationships that we explore in the Bible. The first one is Sarah and Hagar, right? Anybody know Sarah and Hagar? If you don't know, you will know. And we're going to give you the tea on Miss Sarah and Miss Hagar, okay? Also, we have Leah and Rachel. Everybody heard of Leah and Rachel? Yeah. They were sisters, but they had a little drama going on. We're going to talk about that drama. So, ladies, somebody catch the tea. All right. Sarah and Hagar. Let's talk about them first. Okay. So, anybody want to give a recap on the story? Go ahead. Let's go. We'll start with you to my right. Come on and tell them your version of Sarah and Hagar.
That story was a mess. So, basically, Hagar was Sarah's maid or hand servant. And she waited on her husband, Abram at the time. And she was really put in a messed up situation. Mm-hmm. So God had promised Abraham and Sarah a child, and they were old in age. But they didn't feel like waiting on the promise. Or maybe they got too anxious waiting on the promise. So they I felt like they set her up. Because as a maid, they kind of had to do whatever they were required to do, and they actually made her sleep with Abraham and get pregnant, and then she was kind of outcasted after that. So that story was kind of messed up.
So you for Hagar?
I am for the, because she didn't really have a choice in that situation. I mean,
okay. She loved it. She enjoyed it. She wanted that.
I don't think she wanted that. I don't think she wanted that.
You saying what? Absolutely.
I beg to differ.
You don't like
I beg to differ. No, differ with you actually.
Oh my
okay,
God.
Go ahead. Let's see.
At some point, when she became haughty, she became lifted up.
That's right.
And felt like she was equal. Well, you weren't able to produce. But I produced, and I started, shrugging my shoulders around and feeling like, right. So it became an issue at that point. She didn't remain humble.
Okay, but she was put in a situation that she didn't ask to be in.
Absolutely, but that was an opportunity of a lifetime for her.
Okay. But you still have to make the best of that situation.
In a big way.
Okay, all right. So listen. All right, so let's just talk about some facts behind that matter. So first of all, in that era, in that dispensation, it was totally legal, and it was pretty common for other women to be what's called a surrogate. We know what a surrogate is. They're doing that now. Okay, so back in those days, if you couldn't have children, if you was a woman and you were barren and you weren't able to produce, you could have someone be a surrogate, and usually it would be your handmaiden, or because remember that was their property in a sense. Sarah was the boss. chick,
Right,
okay?
right.
She was very wealthy. She was very beautiful. If anybody know anything about Sarah, she had it going on, okay? Because even when her and Abraham moved and they were traveling, she was in her 60s, okay? And he was scared. He gave her the prep talk. He was like, hey, babe,
You gonna be my sister?
listen, when we pass through this town, let them know you my sister. Because if you don't, they gonna kill us, right? They gonna kill us. So what was so amazing about it is that Sarah was beautiful. She was wealthy. Abraham was from a wealthy family, right? So people looked at them with awe. So if you know anything about, if you're married or just look at people's marriages, you're like, man, they have everything. She got money. She got looks. She got a good husband. It seems like she had everything that she wanted. But years passed by, 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old. And then on the way, God keeps promising Abraham that y'all gonna have, descendants. Your descendants will be like the stars. So Sarah looking like, how that's gonna happen? How's that gonna happen, right? Because I ain't getting nothing happening over here, right? So now, of course, she owns property. People were considered property in that day, right? And the Bible tells you how to treat that property, but at the same time, she belonged to Sarah. So she really wasn't her own because Sarah owned her, right? And so Sarah said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this. Oh, God, you said he going to have some kids? Okay. He going to have some kids. Hagar, you healthy. You pretty. You got that little Egyptian flavor on you. She was from Egypt. Yeah. She was cute. She was young and healthy. So Sarah chose her. Hey, you're my handmaid, and I need you to go in there, and I need you to sleep with my husband, Abraham. Because
but don't you think that's where the issue ensued, is because we trying to help God out? You ain't doing it my way. You not moving fast enough. So I'm gonna put together a plan. I'm gonna be intentional. I'm gonna be strategic. But then when that plan starts backfiring on us, that's when we get hot. Because Sarah got hot about a situation she created.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Deborah's rooting for Hagar.
Overstepped her boundaries.
She did. Now here's the thing. So it's true. Now Sarah was wrong. Sarah was wrong. Absolutely. And guess what? Sometimes as the leader or the boss, you will make wrong decisions. Yes. But if you the employee, you the employee. Listen.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Listen,
because give my baby back.
Listen, it was effective. It was effective because Sarah did, Hagar did conceive. Yeah. But the minute she conceived, homegirl started tripping.
Yeah.
She was walking around
the place.
Listen, she walked around like.
And I'm sure she got probably all up in
But she earned that.
Listen, but she was probably all up in his face like, you see my belly growing? Oh, he kicking,
But she didn't earn that. She did earn a promotion. She could have been over the other servants.
Okay, but
down there,
she was promoted.
Oh, okay. Well,
that was a promotion.
She's trying to be equal.
But here's the thing: the baby that she would have delivered wouldn't have been her baby anyway. It was gonna be Sarah's baby because Sarah owned you and that baby.
Okay, but let's bring it to today. Baby mamas and wives don't get along.
She must be surrogate. Like who?
Let me
Can anybody say baby mama drama?
Wait.
I have a question. Who is Kim Kardashian's surrogate? Who? She just had a surrogate, right? Her baby through the surrogate. Who's the surrogate? Who?
She had enough money to keep
her.
But
who knows the name of the surrogate?
Who knows? She had enough money to keep her. She does not exist.
But you a slave though. I own you, right?
No,
I'm talking about Hagar. I'm talking about Hagar.
Okay.
Right? You the surrogate. Why is your name everywhere? Why Hagar? Sarah? No, it's Sarah.
Right. So she was supposed to be subtle. She should have been subtle.
Mentioned because she shouldn't have been part of the scenario from the get.
That's true.
That's probably why she was meant. This is a warning. If God gives you a plan and He says He's gonna carry out, don't go behind Him or don't try to go before Him and do it yourself. That's probably what made Hagar fail.
Well, you know what? That's why the Bible says, though the vision tarries.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Wait. Yeah.
But, and sometimes when we're in a situation, we don't really see the full plan because the truth be told is that she started putting that plan in action before she heard God say, no, your wife is going to have that baby. So she didn't let... Ishmael was already born. He was 13 years old when God actually said, no, your wife is going to have a child.
Yes.
And remember, she
When
laughed.
he went to her.
She laughed.
Yes.
So God never spoke to Sarah and said, you're going to deliver a baby. So she didn't know how that was going to happen.
Right.
Remember, in her culture, it was common for that to happen. So she did what everybody else in the community did. Remember, when she found out that she was going to be the one promised to have a child, the angel of the Lord said to Abraham, no, your wife is going to conceive. I'm going to be back 1 year from now, and then she'll be with a child. And she was listening at the door, and she started laughing. And she said, who, me? We going to get pleasure in our old age? Right? So she had already doubted and tried to work that out before she received the promise. So sometimes, the plan of God is obscure in our lives, and we don't know how we're going to get there until God comes and makes it very clear. So, but it's the crazy dynamics because Hagar is still a woman. Right? And Hagar still has feelings.
Yes.
Right? So, she started getting beside herself, giving Sarah the look like, honey, you cute and all. You got money, but you can't have no baby.
Let's go back to the baby mama.
The baby mama drama?
But I think if everybody stay in their place, we can all get along.
That's what I'm saying.
Remember who you are. You are not the wife.
Yeah,
If I'm the wife,
she was baby mama. She was surrogate, not baby mama. They wasn't like
in a relationship.
They wasn't in love.
But she was always around him, and you gonna catch feelings if you still
She
around
caught
the dude
feelings.
that you mess with.
She did. I'm sure she did.
She gonna catch feelings.
course.
Not like she
Wait,
got
what's
the
the tea?
Listen, did anyone in our audience catch the tea? Did y'all want to add something to that real quick? Anybody got something to say about some baby mama drama?
Baby mamas are very petty. They know how to be real passive aggressive with it. They know how to get under your skin.
Oh, there it is.
I'm just saying, like, not all of them, but not all of them. But I'm just saying, in some situations, they know, your weak spot, your sensitivities. They know how to get to you, and then you have his child. You are somebody that's important, So they could really press that button,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Precious.
Everyone has a place. Everyone has a role. No need for there to be problematic any problems. You need to focus on that child. You need to get along. And once you recognize what your place is, you're going to be fine.
So here's the thing, and even when we think about that story, right? So Sarah went and told Abraham. She was like, "Listen, Abraham, I know you all excited about the baby, and I know that you love this child and everything, but she getting beside herself. Right. And if I don't get a handle on this now, if we don't put this in check now, then there's gonna continue to be a problem." Right. So Abraham was like, "Look, that's your servant. Do with her as you want to do with her. You handle that, right?"
Props to him for that.
Props to Abraham. She said props to Abraham. But she told her, she said, listen, she said, handle her however you feel the need to. And so Sarah handled her very harshly. Yes. Right? And then Hagar ran away and everything. So,
But the thing I want to say is, let's deal with the man in the middle. Why is it that he was okay with just stepping all the way back and just saying, you handle it? And that's the situation that we're facing now. There's drama, there are issues going on between the wife, the mother of the child, all of that, and then the man backs away. No, you don't have the right to back away. You step up, you and your wife, you make a collective decision on how it's going to be handled, and that's what you do. Yeah. So at this point, with I don't agree with how Abraham
handled it. Well, you know what? I would normally agree with what you're saying, and I think that that's true in most situations, especially now when you married and you have an ex-wife or kids with someone else. But in this situation, Sarah set that whole thing up. Yeah. It wasn't like Abraham had kids before he met Sarah. Right. It wasn't like Abraham cheated on Sarah. Right. This was Sarah's plan and Sarah's baby. Yeah. And so, therefore, it was Sarah's drama. Right? So, Sarah, you set this up. That's right. Sarah, you're going to have to figure this out. Right? So, now, but let's talk about what would have happened if Sarah had the mentality to figure out, okay, I created this situation.
Right.
How can I make this work?
Exactly.
You
How
know?
can we make the best
Right.
of it, especially since
And it's difficult because Hagar was feeling herself and
Of
and you know, Sarah said she
right.
despised me.
Yeah.
She was walking around the house looking at me like I was stink.
like I'm the slave.
Like I'm the slave. She walking around the house feeling herself, walking around proud, like, yeah, you all that, but you can't have no baby. I got this baby. You know, so we understand. But Sarah being the more mature one, you know, Sarah being the one responsible for this.
The boss.
And so,
Right,
yeah,
the
the boss.
Right.
You know, she and I don't know, we don't know the intensity of the
the
drama. We don't know
situation, right.
how Hagar behaved actually. You know, but as a leader, sometimes you can just say, you know what, let me pray about this. Let me figure out how I'm going to handle this. You know, maybe I need to try to start working towards collaboration. So what would have happened if Hagar and Sarah would have found a way to collaborate? How would that have been different? What do we see now as the results of that relationship? What are some of the things that's going on now as a result of the relationship between Isaac and Ishmael?
Well, you know, Israel and Islam are at war. You know, that was one of the things that they will always be at war. You know, and they're brothers. And Israel and Islam are at war. You know, and you look at them and they both are blessed. You know, they're blessed in oil or different types of gold. They just are really a blessed people,
Right.
and they grow rapidly. It's like nothing can stop them.
Right. Yeah, and this is true. So, because God promised Abraham when they sent Ishmael and Hagar away that don't worry, Abraham, he will be taken care of. And we know that Ishmael is the father of the Arabs, or you know the Pakistanians, and they're always at war with Israel, which is the descendants of Isaac. And so they're brothers, but they're constantly at war. So both of them are blessed. We wouldn't have to always pray for Jerusalem being surrounded by their enemies if they would have got that together. So sometimes it's better for us to fix a situation at the beginning of it and collaborate for the future, for the future, because we never know who we'll run into. We never know what the situation will bring in the future. And so they could have been at peace now instead of bombing each other and blowing each other up. They could have just been very wealthy together and living at peace in the Middle East, right? Okay. Peace in the Middle East. Okay. Now this one is one of my favorites. Leah and Rachel.
Girl.
Leah and Rachel. Listen, she said, sister wives.
The original.
What is the tea? The original sister wives. Why? Because they really are sisters.
Yeah.
They are blood sisters, and the Bible doesn't even tell us how close their relationship was.
Right.
It just starts off with telling us Jacob went over down there to Laban. And he was, you know, and he saw Rachel. And Rachel was gorgeous. He loved Rachel. He liked her. He wanted to marry her.
Yep.
So he went to work for her father to ask for her hand in marriage. And the dad didn't play. He had his system in order. His house was going to be ran how he said it would be ran.
Right.
Right?
That was the custom of that day.
That was the custom of that day. And the custom was that the older one would get married first. Right? So Jacob worked for Laban for 7 years. And when it was time to see his bride, you may now kiss the bride. He lifted that veil up. Wait, this one here look cockeyed. This ain't the one I saw.
That was not the one.
She wasn't the one.
No, actually,
He slept with her.
they
Oh, yes.
consummated.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Because their custom is there's a sheet that's in between them.
Right.
You know, it's not traditionally done the way we do it now.
Right.
So when the sun rose, and he realized that he was bamboozled, hoodwinked, and he was in for it. So yes.
So we have anybody in our audience. Would you like to say something, Mother Moore? Stand up.
Well, situation with Leah and Rachel. Jacob loved, remember, he loved Rachel. Okay, he was tricked into marrying Leah. And what happened sometimes, Leah thought because she had the children from Jacob, I know what situations have been, that oh, he would love me because I have children. Even women today, they can keep this man because they have children. But you can't buy love.
Come on now. Yes. So, I mean, if anybody know, the trickster got tricked because Jacob himself he was a trickster, right? He tricked his own brother out of his birthright.
With the help of his mama.
With the help of his mother, which Laban was his mother's brother. So guess what? Laban was really his uncle, right? So the mother was a trickster, right? Her brother was a trickster. And Laban was a trickster.
That's right.
So tricksters ran in the family.
That's right.
So the trickster got tricked, right? But it was true. Yes.
But look, tell me this. Why do we get mad when the root of that situation was the dude? Laban was the one that put the sisters in that situation. Why y'all mad at each other and it's these Negroes that put us in the situation?
This is true because a lot of times, a lot of our conflict comes, it's men problems.
Yes.
A lot of times it's men problems that would cause a riffraff between women, you know, for whatever reason, whether it's jealousy, whether it's insecurity, whether it's competition, whatever that may be. A lot of times they're the centerpiece of it. And so why do we fight each other when we really need to look at the source?
Sometimes it's not the men; it's just insecure women. Some women are
But
just
that
super
situation though,
I mean,
with Rachel and Leah,
I feel like she was a little insecure. She knew she was ugly. I mean,
Not necessarily ugly.
She was cockeyed.
Ugly.
she knew everything.
Leah didn't know that he was there 7 years working for her. So, like, was that a secret? Like, she didn't know that she knew.
That's a good point.
the Bible doesn't specify. You think that was a
Like,
secret?
you know
though?
that is not your man at the end of the day.
Well, you know.
She was doing what her daddy told her to do, though. She had to do what her
I mean, and you know what? I mean, honestly, I do believe that somewhere in that plan, she had to know because they was like, keep it covered. Do not show him who you are until y'all consummate this thing. Because why would she work so hard? She know that he didn't love her. She know that they didn't have a relationship. So she had to participate, you know, in it, knowing that him and Rachel, you know, liked each other. She had to somehow know that this is what it was. But I mean, of course, she probably didn't have a choice because her dad, she didn't have a say, but she went along with it. I would at least gave the man the heads up, run for your life. Your daddy gonna give me.
It's kind of similar to Hagar, where she was able to experience what Rachel had, the love that he loved her. He was willing to work so hard for her. So for just one night,
He was real passionate.
she was able to experience that life. Oh, this is a man that loves me, wants me. He's gonna marry me, and da-da-da. And even if he didn't know it wasn't really her, at least she had that experience. The same thing with Hagar. She got that baby in her, and she's not the wife, but she's still having that experience of how it would be if she was the first lady or the main lady. You know?
Now, you know, the reason my heart did go out to Leah because it said that Rachel asked her son for the mandrakes. And she was like, you already have the man. You already have his love. You already have his heart. Now you want to take something from my children. So, my heart went out.
And it's true. In that situation, my heart actually goes out to the both of them. Because first of all, we don't know how old Leah was. Maybe she was feeling like she was getting past the age where somebody would want her. Maybe she looked in the mirror and felt like nobody would ever want her. Like maybe she felt like everybody who come this way, they always like Rachel. Now y'all know how it is. It's all, you know, especially in church, it's always that singer. Or it's always, you know, it's always that person that everybody that come through, they got their eyes on that person. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of us like, dog, every time somebody come, they like her. You know? So we don't know. You know? Let me get her. Come on. Stand up. Yes. We have a question from our audience.
Insecurities is a big thing.
Yes.
And I don't think we focus as much as we should on insecurities. It will cause you to act outside of your character.
Yes.
Like I even watched a show, sidebar, Catfish.
Right.
And a lot of times it comes out to be their friend who was catfishing them because the guy always looks at you, or, you know, like they're saying, you're my Rachel, like no one looks at me. So it was just my chance to show you what it felt like after all these years to have someone you thought liked you only to turn out and like the other person. So
That's true.
I feel like I don't know, in Leah's position, she probably never had love. Even her father knew she wasn't a beauty per se. So to be always playing second fiddle to your sister and then finally having this guy who I'm sure she saw work 7 years, or it's like, dang, I want that for myself. So I agree with Stephanie, to have that one night with the king per se, like that one night to have myself being noticed, that means a lot. And I think we can draw parallel to that today, like women on social media who will do certain things just to get that like, so to get that attention. So I think insecurities is I don't think we focus as much as we should, but it's a big part in this whole story.
All right.
You know, sometimes men marry out of the wrong things. Like my friend always say, like they marry what looks good, but you'll marry the waitress, but you really want kitchen work. You know what I'm saying? So you marry what looks good to you, what's profitable to your ministry, because it looks, and then end up going, you know, to whatever. But like in the end, even though Rachel was the apple of his eye and he loved her so much, Genesis tells us that even on his deathbed, he didn't tell them bury me next to Rachel. He told them bury me next to Leah the lovely, was his words. So it's almost like even though she wasn't there, because the Bible doesn't tell us when she died, but the fact of the matter is he understood who she was. She may not have been, you know, that person to you and probably never even expressed it to her, but he understood even in death, I want to be next to this woman. For whatever reason. I mean, it doesn't go into, but not to say that it should take death, but I think to end the story, he understood who she was. You know.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, I'm so excited about this feedback because, listen, it's so much here in the Bible, we can't even talk about it all. But I do know this, though. One of the main points that I want to say concerning that story of Leah and Rachel is that we just can't have it all, right? So he loved Rachel, right? But Leah was the one that was producing the baby. So she was the one that was able to bring forth children. She carried the lineage. And so Rachel now was beginning to be insecure and begin to get upset. She even complained to Jacob, like, it's your fault. Like, you know, I need to have kids. You know, I need to have a baby. I want to have kids. And so she had to pray to God for something. So while Leah on one hand was praying for love and looking for love, she received love through childbirth. On the other hand, Rachel received love from Jacob, you know. And so you can't have everything. And that's one thing that we would be content with as women if we know to celebrate the profits or the gains that's in the life of our sisters. So praise God you have love. I'm so glad you found a husband. I'm so glad you have a man. I'm so glad you blessed financially. I'm so glad you got all your children, honey. You know, I'm so glad. Listen, we have to know how to celebrate what we have. We will not have everything. We won't. It's very rare that you can have everything. So we need to learn how to celebrate. Matter of fact, we need to get that Gail and Oprah relationship. You understand what I'm saying?